All right, so we're here at the iconic Glasgow music venue. As you can see, King Tut's Wah Wah Hut. It's Matt Stocks here with the Amorettes. Before we get into what we're going to talk about, why we're here today, which is your excellent new album, which is out this week, I wonder if you could tell me about your favourite ever show that you've played on this stage that we now sit on, because you must have played here a few times over the years, I imagine. Does one spring to mind? Does one stand out as like the all-time most epic King Tut's Wah Wah Hut show?
It has to be the Datsuns gig.
Yeah, I think so. We've headlined here a few times, but I think I was a massive Datsuns fan. So were you?
What year was this?
God, 2014.
So it was in that garage rock heyday when they were at their peak.
Yeah, it was just
And I presume they played Motherfucker from Hell.
Yeah, it was so good. Sign my LP.
So the album is called Born to Break. Let's talk about the songs as we go through to this 12 tracks on the record. It kicks off with a song called Can You Feel the Fire, right? Nice high octane rager to get the album underway. Tell us about that song and why you wanted to set the album off with that song and put it at the start.
Originally, I'd actually written this song a while back. It was actually one of the contenders that was maybe going to go on the previous, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. But it was kind of kicking about, and I just thought I kept listening to it and thinking, I really want to do this. I really want to, and you guys liked it, and I really want to use this. I can't let it slip away. And it's a bit of a, it's really rhythm based, but it's a bit more of a, I don't know, kind of Foo Fighter-y kind of big
it's got
chorus.
A different vibe to it, doesn't it?
It's quite. It was originally called "Can You Smell the Fire?"
I
was doing pre-production with Luke, and he kept saying "Feel the Fire," so I thought that sounded a lot better because we were in the vocal booth and having to sing "Smell," it just didn't really fit. So we kind of just changed it on the spot. Actually.
Yeah.
You
made the right choice there, I think, because "Feel the Fire" makes it almost more of like a spiritual energy kind of thing, whereas "Smell the Fire" that's just a building that's on fire over there. And when you say Luke, obviously you're talking about Luke from Thunder.
Luke Morley from Thunder.
Which is mentioned. He's obviously the producer. So does he get involved in the songwriting with you? Is he quite hands-on in that sense? Because some producers will obviously just kind of stand back, hit record, and let you crack on. Others like to get more intrinsically involved with the craftsmanship. Is Luke one of those guys? Yeah,
he likes to sort of, know everything about what's going on. How can we enhance? He's really sort of really hands-on. He likes the songs in advance. He likes you to sort of send him what you've got, so he can kind of get a feel for them, put in his ideas, change bits if he needs to, which is why we sort of do a bit of pre-production beforehand. I'll go down to Brighton to meet him, or he'll come up to Scotland, and we'll just spend a few days just kind of going through things and seeing if they can't be better, or especially in the last album, he wanted to sort of change a few bits, so we kind of did a bit of collaboration, wrote a few songs together. This album, however, he was more than happy to just go with the songs as they were, and I had a few chords here and there, but nothing major. Just
it shows you're growing as songwriters, right?
Yeah, he's taught us a lot.
I can't do anything to improve this.
He's taught us a lot, which is quite pleasing actually. It's quite nice. But he did help me with some of the lyrics because I do struggle with those quite a bit.
Yeah? Well, we don't need to talk about that because you can't tell.
Exactly.
So don't blow your cover. Hello and Goodbye. You kind of almost take it down a notch with that one. It's a bit of a slinky number. I like the way it sort of starts strong and fast, and then almost straight away you're kind of keeping the listeners on their toes, I guess. Was that a conscious decision? Did you want to do that?
I think we just wanted to kind of, stick a bit of a curveball in there quite early, just to kind of keep people's interest. I think sometimes it can be just,
if you just start,
here's
bang,
the
bang, bang, bang.
Amorettes, here we go, blah, 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 big power chords, blah, blah, blah. But this was a bit like, you know, this is...
Yeah, I remember you bringing the demo over and we're all just like, whoa, that's a bit different.
Yeah.
But you weren't sure of it at the start.
Yeah.
You were like, I've written this thing, but I don't know, it's not really us. I don't know.
It's almost got a bit of a Skunk and Anansie vibe about
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the vocal line, it's quite kind of, with a little bit of a kind of more Zeppelin kind of tempo to it.
quite grungy
Yeah, it's quite kind of,
almost.
it's quite funky and it's just so different. Yeah.
Really bluesy, yeah.
Was it important to stretch yourself in that way with this album?
I think so.
Tread new ground.
Yeah, I mean, this was actually one of the songs that when I sat down to songwrite on my songwriting days, I would sit down and I would just write a couple of sort of throwaway tracks, just to spend no more than an hour on each, just to kind of warm up before I started properly writing. But this was one of the songs that I'd written as a throwaway track, and it just kind of, I just kept listening back to it, and I just, you know, I thought, what do you think about this, guys? You know, what do you?
And what
It
was
really
your
stuck
initial
with me.
reactions? Were you like, different but awesome?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I know, I loved it from the minute I listened to it. I was just like, yes, I love this. Because as a bass
Weird.
player, it's a bit more funky.
It's got such a good groove to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really different from what I usually play as well.
Yeah.
But no, I loved it right from the start, and it always stuck with me. I was like, it needs to go on the album.
See, I wasn't even sure. I came at sending stuff to Luke, and I was like, I don't know about this one, Luke. I'm gonna put it in there anyway, see what you think. And he's like, wow, that's different, you know, yeah, I love it. Well, he didn't actually say wow, but I'm sure he said it in his head. But yeah, it was just like different, yeah. I think it just shows a bit of growth. It just shows that you're kind of thinking outside the box and you want to try something new without, I don't think it's too odd.
No,
I
it
think
doesn't
just
sound out of
fits.
place at all.
Just
No.
a bit.
It's still us.
Amorettes doing the blues, yeah.
Okay, so the next song on the album is the lead single, Everything I Learned from Rock and Roll. Kind of like your AC/DC rock and roll singer, isn't it, this one?
Yeah.
And all the other shit you learn in school, but this is obviously the tribute to some of the guys and girls that have shaped your songwriting skills. Was this a co-write with Ricky Warwick, this one?
It is, yeah. I mean, working with Ricky again, it's brilliant. He just seems to know us inside out. He knows exactly what we sound like, exactly. He's such a fan of our riffs, and we collaborated on the last one as well, the last album. But this time it was just, he'd sent through a few songs, song lyrics, and I just knew that was, that's the one. And it came together so quickly. I'd had this riff floating about for a while, and yeah, I think I did the whole thing in like a day, like an afternoon. It just kind of flowed, and it was really organic. And I love Ricky's style. It's kind of gritty and just
Sort of classic as well, isn't it? Sounds like that timeless Ramones-esque.
Yeah, he's got quite a punky edge to him as well, so I think that kind of suits us.
And who gets name checks? Who do we have? We've got Sex Pistols, Beatles and the Stones, Joan Jett, Johnny Thunders and Dee Dee Ramone. Right there.
Boy, Debbie Harry and the Undertones. Because that
go.
rhymes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember trying to come up with like things that rhymed with Ramone, Undertones.
It was either Ramone, Undertones, or Danko Jones.
Danko Jones.
Yeah, that was,
Danko Jones would have been a nice spin.
Yeah.
And was it always an obvious choice as the first single for the album? just because you're saying it kind of came together so quickly, so easily, felt so right?
For me, it was. I kind of fought for it a bit. I was like, yeah, champion it. I don't know what you guys thought this first thing this would be.
It was just such a standout track. It's that chorus. It's just it just sticks in your head. You know, I think it was important to come out with a good, catchy one, and we've had so much good feedback as well so far, and
I think it represents us quite well as a sort of concise song sort of thing.
Lyrically, sonically, the whole package. Yeah.
Everything I learned from rock and roll. Sex Pistols, Beatles, and the Rolling Stones. Everything I learned from rock and roll. Joan Jett, Johnny Thunder, Stevie Ray. You betcha.
Next song on the album, track number 4, is the title track. I feel like as soon as you wrote it, this is what we should call the album.
Not necessarily. I think it was more of a sort of conscious decision later on. And the song's just sort of really about celebrating resilience, I guess. And I think for me, it was a quite personal. The whole sort of songwriting process this time was sort of done under. I was going through a bit of a tough time, and it's just like sort of there's loads of sort of themes in there, kind of like heartbreak and starting over, and just there is a bit of a theme of resilience throughout the album, and this one in particular, the title kind of made sense to me.
Do you mean resilience in a very personal way, or in a professional, creative way, or in all ways?
Yeah, it's sort of a statement of vulnerability. Everybody can be vulnerable, but it's sort of it's celebrating that and not being ashamed of that, and everyone can kind of relate to that as well. It's just sort of a anthem.
There you go. You can say that anthem.
Anthem.
Yeah. That's why it's the title track.
Anthem.
Awesome. Track 5, Whatever Gets You Through the Night. For me, one of my favourites on the album. Massive, almost like an instant classic 80s pop metal, sort of Def Leppard-y moment. It's huge. How did that song come together?
It turned out quite pop, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
it did, yeah.
It's
got a really good melody to it, just a kind of different kind of melody.
So catchy, so hooky.
Yeah.
It's quite.
What's the touchstone with this song? Were you sort of go into any particular acts or artists as sort of influence or inspiration, or was it just coming from somewhere inside of you and it went where it went?
I had that riff just going on forever in my head, the back of my mind, and we jammed it out a few times, and I think it was one of those ones that while writing, I'm really bad at dismissing ideas really, really quickly, and I think this was one that I'd kind of written and then I'd kind of left it alone for a while. I came back to it and just thought,
Why was that? Because you felt like it was maybe too poppy?
I thought it was, exactly. It was just a bit too
happy.
Yeah, for one of
not gritty enough.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this was one of the songs that were just like, do you know what? It doesn't matter. I keep coming back to it. So it must have something in it that's good. It's quite catchy, and it sounds huge on the album. I think it's. Luke loves it as well. He thinks it's just different. I think it's one of those ones that would if I had my way, it would probably have never, never have made the album. But I'm glad I've got people that can be like, no.
Like with Hello and Goodbye, they're
exactly.
like, no, it is different, but that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important to open up more, not be so precious about your ideas, and just kind of just
try things.
Just try new things. But yeah, this one's quite a celebration of do what the fuck you want, and be proud of who you are and what you're all about, and wave your freaky flag as high as you can, you know. Just happy-go-lucky song, I think, which is a different vibe from it for us. I
think this whole album has quite a positive vibe about it. You know, I found that with a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
Which is
that because you all feel in a good place as a unit, as a band?
I guess so, yeah.
Feel strong?
Yeah.
Optimistic, driven?
It just comes out subconsciously, doesn't it? When you're in a happy place, happy stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Drink to that. Barkeep.
Whatever you want, whatever you need, whatever gets you through the night, whatever you like, whatever you believe, whatever gets you through the night, whatever gets you through the night, whatever gets you through the night.
Hell or High Water, another bluesy moment. Kind of hard rocker, this one. Tell me about this.
It's a shuffle.
It's got a good Thin Lizzy kind of vibe to it. That kind of drum beat was so much fun to record as well. It's the thing about this album, it's not just kind of like full on the whole way through. There's just kind of
one-dimensional,
It's not just kind of like 4 on the floor the whole way, which we've done kind of before, but it's more kind of varied, and it'll be good to play live as well, just kind of breaking up the set a wee bit. But yeah, this one was, it's good.
Yeah. It's very classic of, there always has to be a song about, you know, procrastination and determination, and I think with Game On it was Built by the Horns, and with White Hot Heat it was Eyes on the Prize. So there always has to be a cliche song about procrastination. I think I am a big procrastinator, and this was the token motivation song. So I think,
we always want to do a shuffle, didn't we?
Yeah, we were quite obsessed with Susie Quattro and the Sweet and that when we were kind of glam rock when we were growing up, but we had to get that in somewhere, didn't we?
Feel the heat, are you ready? Not waiting for another day. No hesitating, time's a wasting. If there's a will, there's a way. Head down, you're gonna pull it through. Hell yeah, give all you got to do. What don't kill you makes you stronger. Don't drown in hell or high water. Have faith, your time will come around. Hold on, there ain't no backing down. Don't doubt it any longer. Don't burn in hell or high water.
To track 7, side 2, track 1, if you want to call it vinyl style. Is that how you have done it? I've just assumed that you have, but is that side A6,
There's
side
actually
B6?
2
It's double disc.
double disc, so side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4. Well, yeah.
Okay.
So what's it
Because
like?
the songs are quite long
First
as well,
on
aren't
the
they?
second disc, yeah.
Because it's 12 songs
12
as well,
songs, yeah.
so it wouldn't fit on one, I think.
Yeah, that's
So
what it
it's
was.
a double disc.
Double disc,
vinyl
double
release.
gatefold. Mm-hmm.
We should have mentioned that at the start. That's
Ah.
double the pleasure, triple the fun, right?
Exactly. Double the blue.
So this tune, I think for me, is going to be a definite live favourite from the fan point of view, and probably from a band point of view as well, right? There's that solo in the middle of it as well, which is a bit of a ripper,
Yeah.
as Airborne would say. Have you played much of these songs live yet? Have you played any of them live yet?
Just the one. The first single, yeah. We did that at Winter's Inn a few weeks ago. It went down pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of the rest of the record, I mean, is this song one that you're looking forward to getting your teeth into and playing live?
We've just started working it up, haven't we?
Yeah.
More harmonies.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, no, we're definitely putting this one in some of our warm-up shows for the tour that's coming up. So yeah, it's just getting those harmonies tight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be one of my favourite for playing. It is another quite a poppy song, actually. Just yeah.
Pop's not a bad word.
I don't. Yeah.
I think some people think that it is, but you know, I mean, Michael
Usually.
Jackson,
Exactly.
the king of pop,
Yeah,
but some of his
yeah.
songs crush and can go toe to toe with any rock band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And similarly with Def Leppard, you know, bands like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they can rock with the best of them, but then they still have these huge anthemic pop moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it's popular,
And it's
then
obviously
it's
fun
good.
to
Yeah.
explore that territory as songwriters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this one is one of those ones that could be a single. I think maybe.
Mhm.
Although we have got a lot of rock and roll in the titles, I think that might confuse people. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's rock and roll. rock
Everything
and
is
roll.
about rock and roll,
Yeah.
why not?
Actually,
What else is there?
I know. Well, this was the very first song I actually wrote for this album. This was the, this was the kind of get you through the tough times, kind of, forget all the shit. You've something to focus on. Just sort of, forget all the crap. And I hope that's kind of the message. Just whatever's going on, just sort of, whatever the fuck's kind of happening in the background. Just you've still got rock. As cheesy as fuck as that sounds, but
It's true though.
it's true. Yeah, exactly.
Hearts are breaking, worlds are shaking again, but you still got rock and roll. Stop the bleeding, time for healing again, but you still got rock and roll.
So you mentioned Sweet and Susie Quattro a moment ago. Track 8, Easy Tiger, is the pure glam rock stomping moment, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You've got the
Oh, yeah.
clapping and it's like full on 80s glam rock,
Yeah.
unashamedly, and why not? And it's perfect and brilliant.
It's really rhythmical.
It's a really
that
fun,
one.
kind of cheeky, just
Yeah.
great rock and roll.
It's quite,
Party song.
similar to the first album, I think, sort of lyrically wise. It's a bit cheeky,
Bit flirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, kind of is a bit about flirting, and you're having a little chat and you get a few kisses, and then they send you a dick pic, and you're like, whoa, easy tiger.
Is that it right there? Brilliant. Personal
Yeah.
experience then?
Well, maybe. What is with the dick pics, man? Yeah,
We won't name and
When
shame
did
the
that
muse
become a
behind that
thing?
song.
Why is
Modern
that a thing?
times.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Yeah, no, it's quite rhythmical. I think it's sort of like the kind of raw passion, maybe kind of.
all the percussion,
Yeah.
shakers.
It is.
And there a bit of cowbell and a bit of maracas. And
Yeah.
There's no cymbals
no cymbals
either
at all.
at all. But there is. Hannah used a Coke bottle of walnuts.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
They just had this random box of percussion instruments at Rockfield, just all this random shit, and we just kind of looked
Yeah.
through it. What can we use to add to the track? So,
Was it Brian May's Coke bottle of nuts? Been there since '75.
How do you approach recreating a song like that live then, from a percussion point of view? Do you just have to sort of...
Man, we're going to have to
fucking
hire a
idea.
percussionist.
Yeah.
You get
Can we
Bez
like-
along.
Get some people from the audience and give them a
that's it.
tambourine.
That's the road you got to go down.
Yeah.
Audience participation.
Just get my mum in on bongos. Get a drum circle. Yeah. But no, Luke's really into. Like, he's a big Zeppelin fan, so he's really into sort of drums and like he was quite kind of like he's really taught me a lot about kind of like less is more, like when recording drums, not going too like crazy with cymbals and kick drums and things. When you kind of come back to listen to it, it just sounds so much fuller when it's a bit simpler. And yeah, that was another thing. I just kind of learned so much off of Luke as well. He's just
Is that across the board, all three of you?
Yeah, because he's such a sort of multi-instrumentalist as well, so he he can do a bit of everything, and he just knows stuff straight away. Like he can play piano and everything. Yeah, he did piano on the album as well, actually, on Freddie Mercury's piano.
Ooh.
On which song? One we've talked about already? Or?
Yes, I forgot to mention
we
that.
We can't go back. Batshit Crazy has my favourite lyric in the whole album, track number 9, dancing like Patrick Swayze.
I'm so glad you kept that in.
Was there ever a moment when you said, "Ooh, can I put this in?" And you were like, "Yeah, of course you can. You have to."
Yeah. I fought for it. Luke was a bit like,
It was one of those ones that I'd sort of written most of it. It was all kind of ready to go, and there was. But in the studio, obviously, we sort of were playing about with the structure, and we're like, actually, let's make this a double chorus. And obviously, we had to sort of couldn't really sing the chorus twice. We wanted to add in more stuff, and we were like, what rhymes with crazy? And I had already written down Dance Like Patrick Swayze, and it was like getting to the 11th hour. I was like, "Ooh, what about this?" And just let's go with it. Let's just go with it. So
wait till it's too late. Yes! Yeah, I like that.
It's in.
That's the smart play. Coming Up the Middle, track 10. Kind of like, I guess, the ode to the road, is that safe to say? The tour anthem.
Nailed it, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah,
I think it was sort of written in the midst of summer when we only had a handful of gigs, and we were just kind of writing fever. There was no sort of scope of tour at this point. We were just trying to get the concentrate on the album, and I think just missing the road, you physically crave going on tour, and it was one of those sort of maybe for the fans, we're coming for you, just a little world of my own, kind of like we're coming for you, or this is what we do in the van. It's always a competition to see who can drink the most beer and not. Nobody wants to be the first person to say I have to pee. It's kind of like
that's my favourite lyric of the album, to be honest. No pistol south of it. It's so true though.
Yeah.
There ain't no turning back for 100 miles. Here we go, with nothing else to do, coming up the middle of the hill. So here we go, with nothing else to do, coming up the middle of the hill.
Okay, so High on Your Energy. I guess for me the vocals really stand out on this particular track. I mean the vocals throughout the whole album are very strong, but this was a song where I was like, wow, there's some good wailing going on there. Did you feel it was important to try and stretch yourself as a singer? Did you feel that you were doing that? And are you proud with the vocal performances on this album? Because with different sounding songs obviously comes a different vocal approach.
Yes.
And it must have been enjoyable to stretch yourself in that way.
It was good. I mean, especially on this track, this is very vocally demanding. And I guess in hindsight, I kind of wish I was in a better place when I was recording it. I think it might have came across. I say in a better place. We'd just been out for a massive curry and about 4 pints, and we came to do this massive song, and you guys know, I think you all went to bed or something. I was just in the booth, just like, oh my god, oh no, to do this song. It was just even the end part. Oh yeah, it was just kind of, yeah. I wish it was a different song that night that we were doing, or we'd just sort of given up for the.
Was this the hardest song to sing?
Probably. Yes. Yeah, I wish it was a bit more sensible, but yeah, I thought we were done for the night, so we just let go, let loose. Yeah, half pissed and ready to work. But yeah, it was. Yeah, for those harmonies on the end, all tracked. You know, that was I did all the tracking harmonies, and that was hard, but we got through it.
And the song itself, what's it about? What would you say that the energy that you're high on is?
I think it's sort of maybe aimed at towards those kind of people that are so driven. They really inspire me. I'm a big procrastinator, and you know, I probably in my head too much and I think too much, and there's these certain people that just, they know what they want, they go and get it and they do it, and I've met a few of them in the past sort of year or so, and yeah, it was a bit of that, and just kind of just been really inspired by go-getters and sort of yeah, just wishing I had that kind of drive myself. I think the drive I kind of wanted to emulate in the sort of the rhythm playing, but just to kind of, but yeah, big chorus, and I actually wrote this in Paris. I was on a park bench in Paris, and there was like a carnival going on around me, and everyone was just getting into it, and it was like all this kind of crazy shit happening, and I was just like,
always in Paris.
yeah, it was really nuts. There was lots of stuff going on, and it was just, so a lot of the lyrics maybe don't make sense, but it was more of a sort of like flash of energy and exuberance, and
kaleidoscope of emotion. I get that.
Yeah, kind of just sort of in the moment kind of thing. Yeah.
You get me high, you get me higher than the sky, you make me whole. My heart is so high, high enough to fly, high on your
That brings us to the end, the final track on the album, I Want It Bad. Probably the slowest song on there. Feels like a very natural album closer. Was it written as an album closer? Or did it just seem like that was the best place to put this song the way it came out?
I think it was a bit of this sounds like a big epic kind of end kind of song. Yeah, it was, I think it's our only song under 140 BPM.
Yeah.
We don't really do fast, slow songs. We don't really do it.
If we were to play it live, it would just be like
speed up enormously, I think. Yeah. But it could be on the Game of Thrones soundtrack. I think it's quite
medieval, isn't it? You went for a bit more of a Dio vibe on that one.
Yeah.
Like the kind of lyrics and the.
Like Braveheart, it's quite like,
yeah.
be on a horse or something.
Yeah.
See the video.
Yeah, the video would be epic.
Yeah. And the glens.
Yeah, I think it was a conscious decision. Sort of, it is pretty. It was either going to open or close. I think it's not one of those tracks you can just stick in the middle and hope it kind of works. It was a bookend really. We sort of had the notion to speed it up at the end, sort of maybe like a heaven and hell kind of deal, but it didn't really. It didn't really happen. It just had the vibe and the let's keep the groove and it is quite Zeppelin-y. It's quite medieval and used an ebo on the solo as well, which I never used before as well. It was
the solo's great in that one.
Super weird and
quite dreamy.
It's another one of those tracks that's kind of like we were a bit nervous. Is this going to work? Are people going to associate this with us? I don't really know, but you got to be different, I think, with these kind of things. Sometimes you got to try it. And
by the time you're on album number 4, I think it's time, isn't it, to spread your wings,
expand, and
well, you've done it, and you've obviously, I think, had fun making it from the sounds of it, and you should be very proud.
Yeah.
I think from my sort of point of view, some of the songs that are out of the usual Amorettes box are the most enjoyable ones. And I think that a lot of people out there will probably feel the same.
I see it.
How would you compare this album to the previous 3, if you had to sort of address the similarities and differences?
I think we've grown up. I think it's the Amorettes have matured slightly in their older age. I think it's just changing your outlook on things. It's not just the mentality. It's just like 4 on the floor, 180 BPM, go kind of thing. It's there's more variety. There's more scope. There's more.
There's more concepts as well.
Concepts. Just
lyrically as well. There's more kind of going on and
more vibes. I think just more like pop and blues and more influences. There was a bit of a conscious decision as well to make bigger choruses as well. Just to, we had a lot of fans at gigs that were not just singing the lyrics back to us, but like singing the riffs to us. You want to.
That's when you know you've got a hit.
We'll give you
some.
We'll give you some lyrics. Don't worry. Give you some bigger choruses to sing along to.
I love it when crowds do that.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, it was just. I think it was just we had a bit more time on this one as well. I think it was a bit more relaxed and it was just more natural. It just kind of evolved really naturally, and there was no stress about this one. I think it was, and it shows. I think we're all just quite chilled and excited about it. I think,
It's interesting because I've seen bands in the past reach this kind of stage and they run out of ideas and the creative well begins to dry up and they're kind of rehashing. Whereas what you've obviously done is expanded and really enjoyed that process of evolving. And if anything, it seems like there's just still a lot more to be explored that hasn't even been tapped into yet. Definitely. Did you feel like that at the end of this album? Like, wow, there's still so much more we have to say. And
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was some tracks that we did that were not used, and they were completely different as well. It was just you have to keep yourself fresh. You have to sort of just keep writing and just keep expanding, because you can't get stuck in that rut. I mean, I was very conscious about this. We always get compared to DC and Airborne, and there are so many bands out there that are sounding very much in that kind of genre, and I don't think we wanted to be tagged as being one of those bands forever. It's sort of, you've got to keep it fresh and you've got to keep moving, because you're just gonna you know, implode if you do, I think.
Yeah.
So
we have so many different influences as well, and I think it really comes out in this album. Yeah, you kind of prove to yourself that you can play stuff like that and it works, you know. So we can write more of it. Or,
keep it fresh.
Well, the future's looking bright. What are your plans for the rest of this year after the album is out? Obviously, you've got a few shows with the Dead Daisies. Is there anything else booked in or on the cards that we could announce or tease 2018?
Camden Rocks.
We've got a few festivals, coming up in the summer. Don't know how many we're allowed to tell you about. Same with tours. We're not
it's all very cloak and dagger, is it, at this stage?
Yeah, you don't want to like jinx it or confirm it because it's you don't know where you're. There's a few things floating about. Please just keep an eye on the website and Facebook and usual jazz. But we're certainly going to get to as many places as we can this year, definitely.
Let's go from left to right. Favourite song individually off the album. You start us off, Hannah.
I like Coming Up the Middle.
Yeah. Ode to the Road. Gill?
Born to Break. Yeah, Born to Break.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, title track, solid. And Heather?
Hello, Goodbye.
Hello, Goodbye. Nice.
I love that one.
The Slinky Number.
Yeah, I can see the video already. It's gonna be great.
It's going to be a bitch to play live.
I know.
Well, thank you for your time. Nice to see you. Congratulations on an amazing album. And it's out now, so people can buy it. And they should.
Everything I learned, I learned from rock and roll. Sex Pistols, Beatles, and the Rolling Stones. Everything